What is up, GigaNuts? Welcome back to the first off-season Giga Up podcast.
We made it!
I am your host, Sal Rose, and I will be joined, hopefully weekly, we got to see the off-season schedule, by current team owners and former championship teams, Commiss John Harris
What it do?
and Mikey Swags. Obviously, we are 3 weeks away from the draft still, but we kind of just want to come on here, chop it up, a little off season, going into year 7. So, lucky number 7. This should be hopefully the most exciting year yet. We're going to go over some potential new rules. We're going to go over the keepers, draft capital, and the future franchise aspirations of all 12 teams, along with new divisions. If you haven't seen the Instagram post, go check that out. GigaNuts Entertainment.
Follow it.
Please.
I'm just excited, and we're recording this exactly 3 weeks before the draft. When it comes
Oh
out.
yeah, today's Saturday.
Exactly
yeah.
being recorded before the draft. August 15th. Mark your calendars.
Fuck, I'm excited.
It's so exciting. I say we start off going over each division just in case anyone has missed it. No longer D1 versus D2. We have switched to West versus East. So in the East division this year, we will have Rossi, Dan, Jay and Nate, Kyle and Beam, Luca and Liam. Moving over to the West, we will have all 3 of the hosts right here. We'll have Bishop, Kamish, myself, Josh, Joey and Mark, and Curry and Hammy. So fully new look, lots of fresh shit talk to come, and hopefully some exciting matchups and game of the weeks in the future.
Yeah, schedules will be fun this year.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
New rivals, too, to be announced. Potentially. I believe there's a couple new rivals, right? Any new rivals?
4 franchises have new rivals, so 2 pairs.
Okay, so 2 new rivalry week matchups. We'll
I hope one of them is me.
we'll see.
I think one of them is.
Yeah, and that boy I own,
almost
and that
confirmed
boy I
one of
own.
them is
Yup.
You also got Luca voted back for you to pull back a little bit of the curtain. Luca voted for you, and you did not return the vote for Ryan.
Well,
This should be interesting.
yeah.
We'll have to do a post-draft gig up for sure.
Sounds like
and go
Bishop might
over all
have
the
been
good
dodging some
stuff.
smoke.
I own
I
both
would
those
after
boys.
last
Let's
year.
not forget, bro.
I mean, hey.
We're not letting one game to determine ownage, bro. We're not letting it. Anyways.
In the chip, though? In the chip.
I beat him in the chip already. Come on. Like,
It's series tied now.
come on. He hadn't beaten me since we were sophomores in high school or juniors in high school
Beat you
before
when it
that.
mattered, though.
Just saying. Whatever.
Yeah, he brought one home for D1.
Whatever.
solidarity.
Y'all needed something after 2 fucking belt to asses in the turkey bowl.
Anyways.
Hashtag blame Luca, hashtag blame Rossi.
Agreed.
Wide receiver 1 was left on his own, throwing up on the sideline.
Yuck.
Oh,
But with all that blabbering
Had to be
of the
back.
intro out the way, I say we hop right into the East Division and kick it off with the first team we'll be covering, which is Big Rossi's Big Hot Men. This year, Rossi will be keeping Olave for a 7th. How do we feel about that? Off rip, boys. Anything?
I think Olave is intriguing to me because I think a lot of the reason he succeeded last year is because who else were they giving the ball to?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, is Shuck gonna take that second step? I don't know. I trust Kellen Moore a lot as a Birds fan, and I really I trust the system, and I'm sure he'll get targets. I just don't know if he's gonna score, and I feel like we're gonna see. We're not gonna. To me, it's not a top 10 finish again, for sure.
My thing with that is that where he's keeping him in the 7th reminds me a lot of where I kept Ladd last year. Even though I had higher hopes for Ladd, how Ladd's season played out last year of him being perfectly fine, right? He wasn't doing anything of note.
Keenan Allen.
But he wasn't shitting the bed. He was getting at least those 8 points, and then some of the weeks he'd have 17. And I think from that same value with Olave, I think that's a fine value in the 8th round. You get someone that can at least come in and be a second flex or do something.
No, I think Olave sits really tightly as a wide receiver too.
Yeah.
This season.
Yeah.
I think if he's off the draft, off the keeper list, he'd be around a 4th round, 3-2 turn or 3-4 turn guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. I think kind of going off what y'all said, I think for starters, Olave for a seventh is really good value, regardless. Whether how we think he'll do, I think for a seventh is perfectly reasonable to keep. With that being said, obviously they drafted Jordan Tyson, and I was watching some of his tape. Correct me if you all have different opinions, but like I think he's very similar to Olave. Like I think,
Can't say I've
well,
watched a lot of Jordan Tyson tape.
Yeah.
I can say that I think it'll be really hard for Tyler Shuck to support two wide receivers, especially if, in your eyes, they play similarly.
yeah,
What's Olave's contract? Like, do we think that?
I don't know. Did he get extended? I would have. Yeah, he had.
Kind of whatever. Yeah, he's under his contract's up this year.
Is this his? Is this
So realistically,
team
Olave,
option?
this is a contract year for him.
Oof.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's playing on a club
that's
option. This
big.
is his 5th-year option right here.
Wow.
They also bring in ETN, which obviously establishing that run game this year will be very important because we saw that one last year. Kamara did nothing. They had Devin Neal for like a couple games. Nothing was happening. We know Kellen Moore can scheme the run game. I think ETN's due for a pretty big year. They gave him a big-ass contract for a reason. That'll take looks away from him. So, all in all, very good value for the keeper. I don't expect a wide receiver 6 finish again. I
No.
don't think he'll actually come close to that, but we'll touch on that in a little bit. Moving along to his draft capital, he is sitting at 1-8, right in between Josh, who is picking from 1-7 and 1-9. Along with that, missing a third and a fourth round pick. Has 2/5, but we know how important those early mid-round capital is. You know, it's make or break for a lot of leagues. We've seen teams succeed without thirds or fourths, but it makes your chances significantly harder. With that being said, obviously, like I said, we've seen teams succeed, but it's so hard. Do y'all have any
I think
opinions
wanna
on
touch
where
on-
he goes with this?
I think I really want to touch on this first sandwich between Josh. Like, I think it's gonna be really tough for Rossi. Like, I think one. What is he picking? 1-8.
1-8.
I think 1-8 might be like the scariest spot to draft in this year, especially because the team with the most capital in the entire league is just picking right in front and behind you. So like whoever you don't take, you just feel like you're gonna feel like I feel like you're gonna feel stupid no matter what.
Yeah.
Because I think like if Josh gets a running back in front of you, you're like fuck. Would have liked a running back there. If you pick a receiver and then Josh goes receiver after you, you're like, damn, did I pick the right receiver? And I think that's definitely a very Rossi spot to be drafting in.
Yeah.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't type of situation.
Mm-hmm. And I think kind of going off that is with the Olave keeper, you would obviously probably like to go RB round 1, or at least round 2, but he's not guaranteed an RB at 1-8. You know, going off of John saying how he sandwiched between Josh. If Josh goes, say, James Cook 1-7, who I would say would probably be the tier break of the high end RBs, it's like, now, Rossi, do I want to reach? Well, not really a reach, but do I want to take a risk on Genty 1-8, or do I just, back into taking a receiver such as, I'm not going to name too many names, but obviously we know a gist of who will be there 1-8 receiver wise. I think it puts in a really scary spot. And then that forces his hand in the second round, and he doesn't have a third or a fourth.
Yeah.
No, he's got to hit on those first 2 picks.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
sure.
Anything that you would like to add, Bishop, or?
I think we can kind of move on to the bold prediction. The only thing I want to add is like Rossi's storyline for sure this year is just avoiding mediocrity again, right? Like he stepped up the mediocrity last year,
making the play,
but he still hasn't won a playoff game since 2021.
Right.
And that's a harsh reality.
Yeah.
And I think, obviously we'll continue to talk about the East, but the East is definitely deeper than the West this year. This is a very tricky spot to be in because he has, in my opinion, 4 teams in front of him. Like, I think he is the 5th best team in this division preseason. Obviously, a lot can change, but making the playoffs this year and building off that, getting a playoff win is going to be a very tall task.
Yeah, absolutely.
Moving along, we're doing a bold prediction / take for each team. Our bold prediction for Rossi, and obviously we kind of hinted at this at the start of his section, but we believe that Olave will finish outside the top 20 this year.
Yeah, I think I gotta give that a thumbs up here.
Yeah, I think he'll
Sure.
I think he'll be perfectly fine, but
Mhm.
We'll see. I don't.
I think
he's gonna
I'm
be-
like right at top 20.
Yeah.
Like, I think like
Yeah.
2021 is right where I'm at with Olave. In terms
Absolutely.
of
And
where I think he actually finishes.
I think it's not really I think it's just more of a Saints thing. Like I think it's just a little bit more crowded on offense.
Yeah.
You're hoping that Chuck won't be able to hyper target him now. You're hoping that he can support Olave to, be a top receiver along with Tyson getting some relevance. It's just a tricky spot.
Forget
Not to
about
say
Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind. I take it back.
Moving right along.
Moving along to my personal preseason 1 seed for East is going to be Dan, but we will touch on him. Dan's keeper is Judkins for a 12th. I personally love it. Before Judkins, fucking mauled his leg last year, he was getting bell cow volume. He was slightly inefficient, but I think that's just a product of the Browns. They didn't get much better, but I mean, for a 12th round pick, you're getting your kicker in that round, and he's getting what should be a mid to high end RB2, assuming the volume stays the same. Yeah. How do we feel about Judkins?
I love it. I mean, it was a great pickup from him last year. I drafted Dylan Sampson right before because I didn't know what was happening with Judkins, and I definitely regret doing that. So it was a great pick from him last year, and I mean, just being able to have that again in the 12th round, you really can't get any better than that.
I love Judkins. I hate the selection of keeper by Dan. That's how I feel about Judkins. I think Dan had Luther Burden for a 10. I think is a dog. He had,
I do like Burden for a 10.
He had another player that I was thinking about. He texted. He messaged me twice. Well, let me pull up his team from last year. It was and then he had Loveland too. So like
Loveland what was he, a 9th?
Yeah, he was a 9. So I think he couldn't keep Loveland. That's what it was. But it was one or the other. But yeah, I think I just really would have liked Luther Burden for a 10-year, just because of the scoring and like the ceiling. Because you play fantasy to win, not to be safe.
Difference in the offenses is night and day.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to see some in the mock drafts, right? Like if I imagine he's gonna. We'll get to it.
But there is more than likely a reason that he is keeping Judkins. But like Kamish said, we will touch on that. Moving along to Dan's capital, it's definitely there. In my personal opinion, second best capital in the league.
It's cool.
I know, John, you said you prefer Kyle and Beam slightly.
I like that Kyle's got the 2-3 and the 3-4 turn. But at the end of the day, it's who makes those picks.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you gotta hit on them.
Dan does have 2-1. That is huge, along with 1-2. So obviously, with that being said, he's guaranteed Gibbs, Bijan, whoever doesn't go 1-1 is going to get drafted right away. Can't go wrong with either of those. He also has 2-11. He has 3-2. He has 2/4. He is deep, and Dan can draft. He's proved it in 21, and it was 24. He had 2 really good squads. The first year he won the chip. He can draft. He's a smart drafter. He knows what he's doing. Dan can turn good capital into a really good team, and he's not scared to buy. Moving off of that, he can turn this team into something really good. Or was it 22 that he won the championship? I'm sorry.
22 he won. 24 he came fourth.
Yes.
Fourth. Okay, but that was a damn good Dan team.
That was a really good team.
That was the year that BTJ and who's his other receiver? They almost just fucking single-handedly came back from down 50. That was really not fun. Dude, I was terrified in Kyle's basement that night. All of a sudden, BTJ caught 2 40-yard bombs, and I went,
Ooh. Stressful spot to be in.
Yeah. Ended up making it through, just to get shit on the next week, but...
Hey, that's 24 Liam for you. There's not much you can do off that.
Yeah, best team of all time.
But... anything else to add on the capital aspect of things before we move on to the...
Got a lot of it.
Yeah.
I mean, like we said, we're going to do a post-draft Giga Up, so we'll see how he turns the capital into what I would imagine would be a good team, but only time will tell. Yeah. Moving along to the bold prediction, and this is kind of what John was hitting at with why he's keeping Judkins for a 12th, is that sitting at that 3-2 spot, we do... or not. John has him taking Luther Burden 3-2. 3.02, and I'm going to thoroughly agree with that. I think it makes all the sense in the world. If you know Dane in the group chat last year, he loved Luther Burden. He had no reason not to. He was a dog for him down the stretch. Literally, the only reason he didn't lose the entire league is because Luther Burden was just hard carrying.
Luther Burden versus the Niners, dude. Oof.
Yeah, and I personally, when John brought up the bowl prediction, I loved it. He's brought it up in mocks. I've agreed with him throughout every step of the way. And I think as training camp, it's starting now, as it goes further along, I think it's only going to push the Burden agenda harder and harder, because I think he's a young, uber talented receiver that deserves to go in that spot.
I also think that Burden 3-2 for the rest of the league, like the implications, it makes his 211 really interesting.
Very, yeah.
It makes it very. He's got picks. He could go tight end. Like if you wanted tight end one off the board, he could go and get it. He could go running back if he wants one of those end of the seconds. Like he can go a lot of directions whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Bishop?
It's gonna be interesting.
All right. Carrying along to the third team in the division, we have Jay and Nate. Now, before we talk about their keeper, this is a very, very, very exciting year in fantasy for Jay. This is his first relevant week in GigaNuts since week 11 of 2024. It has been almost a year and a half since he has had something to look forward to in fantasy. And, you know, that sucks. He's been banged raw by Tyreek Hill 2 seasons in a row. Fortunately, he's not going to be healthy to start the year, so that is no longer a possibility for him.
It's behind him.
It is behind him. And I mean, I am excited for Jay because I've been shitty in this league 2 years in a row, and it fucking sucks. It's very annoying. You get trashed.
It's not fun.
And it's just every Sunday you watch your team get beat to shit. It sucks.
Yeah, shout out Team Baby Keem, though. If y'all remember, shout out Team Baby Keem. That was...
I don't remember.
I was just bad and I made my team picture. If I win a Grammy, that's cool, but I'm going to get fucked tonight. I forget what the actual shirt says, but that's the... Kyle, you're going to be watching this. Put up the Baby Keem picture.
Please.
Please put up the Baby Keem picture.
Jay and Nate, their keeper is Cam Scatterbo for an 8. They actually traded for his keeper rights right before the trade deadline from John last year.
Yeah.
And I like the move a lot for Jay then because he had no keeper. QJ was going to be his original keeper, but obviously kind of fell off a cliff as the season went down.
Dude, he's happy he made that Scatterbo trade now.
Yeah, and like I said, I liked it then. I think as the season went on and the preseason continues to stretch, I love it more and more each day. We saw what Scatterbo did last year. He was getting bell cow volume. I believe he was like RB4 points per game when he was playing the snaps. Obviously,
it was ridiculous. He was top 5.
Yeah, he was hooping, and I think for an 8th, it's just a really good keeper. It's similar to Judkins. Like it's just great value. You're getting a high end RB2 assuming he comes back.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
And I think kind of going off the keeper into his draft capital, he has 1-4, he has 2-4, 2/3. He doesn't have a 5th or a 6th, but with the volume of early round picks, the Scatterbo keeper frees him up so much because he has that RB2 locked in place.
Yeah, I think Scatterbo to me is definitely I would say minimum top 3 keeper to me, just based on ADP and what I think he'll play like this year. I think Scatterbo's that's a dog, dude. Getting him in the 8th is awesome. I'm excited for Jay Nate this year. I'm specifically excited to see Nate this year. Yeah. 2 years in a row, he's been on the hot seat as a co-owner.
Yeah.
Finally has to pay attention this year.
I was about to say, we've given him benefit of the doubt due to the state of Jay's team.
Dude,
but...
Tuck has extended the hot seat. And he was... per sources, it's this year is if Mr. Nate don't pay attention.
To my knowledge, that is correct. Because last year, he was actually supposed to be cut. But given the circumstances of their season, Jay did extend the offer, which I think is fair.
He wanted to make his buy-in smaller.
Jay fucked up the year last year. Respectfully, Jay was the reason they were bad, not Nate.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm excited for Jay and Nate. I'm excited to have Jay back in the group chats. I think is most of all, it's been since 2024 since I've gotten to talk to Shithead, and It's always great. Jay's just always the great. I always want his fingers in a group chat. I always want him on the phone.
Shit talking Jay is a very good
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I think it's gonna be exciting because Jay to me is low key one of the like blue chip. Like he was good. Yeah, since like it wasn't until 2 years ago where he became the laughing stock, but he was at least like making the playoffs. He wasn't winning playoff games, but he was making the playoffs every year.
Oh yeah.
And like it's just like it's gonna be exciting to see because we know what he can do. He just
I want his luck to be brought back. You know what I mean? Like, you know how he always won those low scoring? I need Jay to get that back.
Yeah.
I
missed the 110, 106 victories for Jay.
Yeah.
And I think kind of going off like the having Jay back, not only as like a shit talker, but just like a competitive team. Like, Jay's not scared to go out and die. He's very comfortable giving up good draft picks. And I think that's something that is going to be super fun to watch, especially in a division as good as the East this year. Like I think it's going to be very similar to D2 last year, where you just see 4 to 5, or in this case, 4 really good teams that are just going to duke it out until the trade deadline, until one of them eventually is like, fuck it, I don't have it this year. And I love situations like that because it just keeps the league so fresh, the shit talk so fresh, and it's fun as fuck to watch, especially when I'm not in the division. I gotta watch this shit from the sidelines like I did last year and just worry about myself in the West.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. I don't know how stuff's gonna go and whatnot.
It's
fun.
The bold prediction that I have for Jay, and this is going to seem very contradicting based on everything I just said about them, but obviously, as I mentioned, the East is very good this year. The bold prediction that I have for Jay and Nate's team is that they are going to be the first team out of the playoffs and finish 7th out of 12.
You go first, Bishop. How do you feel about this?
I agree. I think their capital this year reminds me a lot of what Kyle had last year. I think it's definitely better, especially with the depth pieces that they like, the depth picks they have. But it feels very similar where you have a lot of that early round, and it's great if you hit on it. But we saw Kyle hit on a lot of his early round picks last year, but he couldn't.
Saquon crippled that team.
Saquon definitely did, but like he couldn't stay competitive because he'd have a running back too. And Jay is in a better position for sure with his keeper and with his later round picks. But I agree. I think he's going to have a very similar season to Kyle last year.
I think I'm going to give the first thumbs down here. I think I'm going to lean back on what Bishop said earlier about Jay being blue chip. I do think that Jay's going to hit on his picks this year. I think the board is going to – I like where he's drafting at with, like, the pools of players, and I think that come draft day, he might get blessed a little by the fantasy drafting gods. And I think he pulls out a 3rd seed. I don't think he's going to – be a fucking amazing team this year. I mean, we'll see. But I do think that I think he'll be competing for the 3rd seed like all year and get it.
My thing with Jay though is he a historically good drafter? I feel like even before he was
very
bad,
bipolar.
He was always making those stupid.
Jay is the tale of 2 different teams. Bro.
He is,
Like pre-24, that's a team that like drafts and makes like 2 moves, and like those moves really bolster the squad, I feel like. And then 24 rolls around, he has Tyreek in a terrible draft. It makes amazing trades, and then they got hurt.
Yeah.
And that was just unfortunate. And then he was trying to blackmail Sal into DK Metcalf. So.
And Tyreek Hill, and I was not going for it. Thank God I did not.
Yeah, I think I'll disagree, but I think it's like a
right.
Yeah, and I think it's a bold take for a reason. Like if Jay comes out and even he gets as high as the 2 seed, like I'm not going to sit here and my jaw's not going to be on the floor. Like it's very feasible.
Yes.
I personally do think he will be the first team out in the East. But, bold take for a reason. Regardless, it's going to be a super fun division to watch. And I think after the draft, it's only going to amplify. Like I think we're going to see the teams and, we'll have a better gauge of whether these bold predictions will make us look like idiots in a couple months.
Absolutely.
Moving along to another East team, we have Kyle and Beam, and let's just hope that they can right their wrongs from last year. They're keeping Parker Washington for a 13th. I personally do like it, especially considering who are they going to keep?
Tucker Kraft.
Someone remind
Harold
me.
Fannin.
Fannin, yeah, they were gonna keep Fannin, but they switched like a day before, and
They had
on
really bad
Parker
keeper
Washington,
options.
They
They had really
did.
bad keeper options.
They were the only team in the league where it was like they could go no keeper.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have been mad. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd be like, okay, that's fair. But
Whatever.
Washington for a 13th, I mean, why not keep him for a
take a
13th?
shot.
It's good value, a little bit of a
He's dog last
handcuff.
year.
But down the stretch, yeah, we saw what he did with T-Law. T-Law had a career year. Liam Cohen runs a great fucking offense. Nothing's going to change. They lose ETN, but if anything, promotes them to pass a little bit more. And yeah, I think it's just it's not a keeper that's going to be a game changer, but it's a keeper that will absolutely help negate the depth problem that he had last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like for Kyle and Beam, like my kind of thought process going into this year is like trust your fucking gut.
Yeah.
Be the authority, like you know what I mean? Like I feel like every time Kyle and Beam enter a trade discussion or on draft day, it's a lot of I don't knows or it's I'm not sure's instead of just go fuck it. Right? Make a decision. Stand behind it 10 toes. That's what I want to see out of Kyle and Beam this year. Because I think they have the capital to win. Like
Yeah.
I think the 2-3 turn and the 3-4 turn this year, really good spots to be in. I think they have the capital to just have a starting lineup by the end of round 4, or like by the end of round 4, basically. Like not a full, but generally. Like I don't see why this team can't win.
And not to mention they have 1-1. They have Bijan or Gibbs.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about that. Yeah, it's Bijan or Gibbs. Like
they're getting the best player in fantasy football. Yeah. Whether you have Gibbs or Bijan, I don't really give a fuck. They're just as
whoever
good,
you think the best player is going to be.
Yeah,
that's who you get.
I'm not mad if you say either, and they're getting a guaranteed.
Yeah, like
visuals. I
think like the big thing is just stop letting people tell you what players are worth. If you don't agree with it, right? Like if you're like I don't know, but like a lot of the time it feels like, as someone who's talked to Kyle quite a few times of trades over the last couple of years, he just will ask you what you want or like your offer and not counter you. Personally, frustrating as fuck.
Yes.
If y'all look at that third for the league listeners that didn't have inside scoop on that trade offer, that deal took like weeks to go through because Kyle just didn't counter me with anything for weeks because he thought he was going to try and rip me off instead of just trying to rip me off.
Mm-hmm.
Rip people off, it's okay. Like
yeah,
like respectfully, the words they're gonna say is I don't want to trade with you anymore. And I think that's where Kyle like falls into it. Is like he doesn't like, dude, be selfish.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to see out of the Kyle and Beam squad.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of just conviction is lost with that team. Anytime you try to talk to them about anything, I mean, I went out there and tried to ask for Brian Robinson for 8 weeks, and I get holding on to him for sure, but there wasn't ever anything else other than can I get Brian Robinson? Here's my price. That was
like,
it. Yeah, and eventually we did get the deal done. I didn't even need him, whatever. But it's just like, yeah, it's conviction coming out of that. I think Beam knows a lot more this year than he did last year, which will be super helpful.
I think Beam's gonna be really involved this year.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Because he was
involved in that 3rd round trade up like a lot. He was very involved.
Even when I traded for Brown and Amon-Ra last year, he was in all the calls and he was like giving insight, which I think is very different to early season where it was kind of just like a yes man, maybe kind of similar to Nate, where if Jay, brings up a move, Nate might just be like, "Yeah, bro, what do you think?" And just instantly kind of pivot to if Jay likes it, let's do it.
Yes. Yeah.
Moving along with their draft capital, as John mentioned, they do have the 2-3 and 3-4 turn. I think if they do want a chance to go deep this year, that 2-3 turn has to be hit on.
It has to.
And in the mocks, at least the ones that me and John have been doing, the 2-12-3-1 can get a little scary. There's a lot of ADP traps. So it's obviously good spot to pick in 2-12-3-1, great picks, but it's very sketchy.
Last second round running back, I think they'll get the last second round running back.
And that's a big question mark. Obviously, I have the name, or at least who I believe is the name in my head, and like it's a very volatile pick. So I think if they miss on the 2-12 and 3-1, or if they hit, like I think those are going to be the picks that we talk about the most on the post draft one, because it's a scary spot. Like if they do make bad picks, I'm not going to sit here and shit on them, because in all the mocks I'm like, fuck,
It's tough,
I
dude.
really don't like the
Tough
value
spot.
here. But say, obviously on draft day someone could slip, someone could rise. Training camp news hasn't even broke.
I think along with like the selfishness and like conviction and negotiations, I would like Kyle and Beam to have their guys this year going into the
Yes.
Yes,
I feel like
come in with a plan.
Yeah, like I feel like every year it's just like who's best available, and I'm like, cool, have two guys that you want to walk out of there.
I was about to say more so just get two guys where if I can get them, and say draft day you're 2 spots ahead and you're like, fuck, he might go, trade up, get your guy.
Literally, yeah. Get shiesty with it, dude.
Or just more so make a list of don'ts.
Yeah.
Because that's my whole thing. Draft day, I do more a list of do not draft this person unless you absolutely have to. And almost every single time you don't have to.
I normally go to draft day, it's like one guy no matter what. Like last year was Travion, it didn't work out. But like previous to that, like it has worked out for me. I got one guy, I know that's who I want.
Yeah.
And then everything else is like don't, and like you said, just don'ts from there. It's like we don't want these players at this pick no matter what. I'll reach before I even remotely entertain Zay Flowers 312. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah,
something like
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So wrapping up this Colin Beam section right here. My bold prediction, personally. I think if they all things go right, they can fuck around and get the first seed in the East. That's what I'm gonna oppose to y'all to.
I disagree. I actually see them missing the playoffs more than I see them being first in the East. I think these Fugazi numbers don't mean anything when Kyle hasn't showed me that he can be a good manager on his own. I think he's a great manager. He won GM of the Year 2 years ago. I was a big proponent of that. I love that, right? But then he came out last year, and it felt like everything that he learned and just washed away. And yeah, I mean, we're saying that have dues, have guys you want, have guys you don't want. I just don't see that conviction being here next year.
I also disagree. I think he is closer to the 3 seed than the first.
Yeah.
But that being said, I don't despise the bold prediction because, like John said, if everything does go right, I do think he can go toe to toe with Dan or Liam or Jay, whoever the viewers have as their 1 seed. I personally, kind of going off of what Bishop said, I don't necessarily have 100% faith in Kyle to nail his picks, along with buying/selling when the time calls for it, specifically buying in this case. That's nothing against Kyle. Like Bishop said, Kyle has proven that he can be a very good GM.
Yes.
I just want to see it back-to-back years, or just more so consistency, like, and kind of like what you said, just have faith in your guys. Like if you see someone on the trade market that you want, get them. If you're in contention for a championship, you cannot be scared to give up a pretty penny. That's kind of how it works, unless you're 2023 Bishop, which we said all last year on Giga. So I don't hate the prediction, but I do disagree.
Yeah, I have faith in you, Kyle. Let it be known.
I hope you do well, because I would love to see you.
I'd love to see you do well.
Well, you're gonna have to watch this.
With Kyle being able to talk shit, be great.
That would be so fun. Good. We haven't seen it yet.
We have
never seen it,
but I know it's in there somewhere.
Bishop rage bait incoming.
Moving on to the last team in the East, and this is going to be a quick segment. We have previous league champion team Luca motherfucking Genoese. His team looks like what you would expect for the previous winner, but it honestly looks worse. He is keeping Wandale for a 14th. I like it. Not a game changer, kind of similar to Parker Washington, but in the case of Lucas Capital, it's going to have to be a game changer. John, how do you feel about Wandale? I know you specifically are a little bit higher.
I do like it. I think some things that aren't being said about Wandale is he's clearly going to play the slot. Like that's being said. But after that, Brian Daboll is their play caller now. He just got hired in Tennessee. Loves Wandale Robinson last year. Wandale on the slot last year was great. I think that Cam Ward's gonna want to. That's the one veteran receiver in this room, right? Like that's the guy who's gonna do everything right in every practice rep. And you're just gonna go, fuck, he's doing it right. Here's the ball. And I think Wandale might be a PPR machine this year.
Yeah, I agree that I definitely
like
could
it.
see him averaging 9 catches a game, or somewhere around in that range, maybe like 7.
That's quite an amount.
Yeah,
Like,
nine
yeah,
nine is a
that's-
lot. I said it. I didn't love it.
No, I know what you're saying though.
But
I'd say like the 6 to 7.
Yeah,
no joke.
definitely.
No,
Yeah,
that's solid for that's solid.
That's
for
really
Tennessee.
solid.
It's
He goes-
irrelevant.
he goes
Yeah.
out there and gets 80 yards. That's 15 points a week that you
If
just
Wandale,
have in
dude,
the
Wandale
14.
has 6 touchdowns at the end of the year. You're fucking jumping up and down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of.
Yeah, not much to
moving
say though about
off.
Luca.
Yeah,
Congrats on 2025.
the draft capital's rancid. He's missing a 2, 3, and 4. You know, his team. You'll see it. I keep bringing it up. The post draft episode. You're gonna see what it looks like. It's gonna look like shit.
Yeah.
And that's kind of just how it is. You know, I like. There's just literally nothing to talk about. I'm trying to come up with shit as I'm actively speaking. I got nothing.
Well,
But
I,
Irving got you that first round bye, Luca. That's what I
yeah,
have to say.
I can say about Luca is that I hate him and I want him to have the worst season ever, and I hope he has a bad day today. That's about it.
That's fair. Moving along to the bold prediction, I believe, John, you wrote this one down. Would you like to?
Yeah, I could take this one.
Charger?
Piggybacking on my Wandale hype, I do think Wandale Robinson's going to be a top 20 receiver this year because I think he's a PPR machine and he'll have like 80 yards a game, and it's like 80 times 8 times 15 is 61. Yeah, it's like 1,200 yards.
Not bad. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think he'll be good. I think I could totally see him being in that like 16, 17 range of like he's very good. You know what you're getting from him, and
I would love to draft him, Luca. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
That's how I feel
yeah.
about it.
I disagree. I think there are about 28 offenses, 29 offenses in the NFL that are better than the Titans. And I think the league is just so fucking talented right now, especially at the receiver position, that while he is set up to potentially have a top 20 finish, assuming Cam Ward takes a jump and the offense evolves under Dable, I'm not saying it's not possible. It definitely is. But I think that there's just such a surplus of really talented receivers that it would be very difficult. Like, I think kind of like what y'all said, he's going to have to go out there and be a PPR machine where he's getting, 8 to 9 targets a game, coming down with 6 of them, hopefully another 60, 70, 80 yards on top
It's
of
like Tyler
that.
Lockett to me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, that's how I see it. I think I see like like for me, this bold prediction is like rooted in like a prime Tyler Lockett year.
Mhm. I just
Yeah.
don't think he has the touchdown upside of Lockett.
That's fair. That's totally fair. Yeah, no Russ, because like I mean that was the thing that pushed Lockett over the top.
Yeah,
is
they don't
Russ
have
could
that
just
deep
launch
ball.
the ball.
Yeah.
I can see that.
But like I kind of said with the Kyle pick, very feasible, but I just personally don't see it happening. Nothing against the pick from Kamish. I do like it. And lastly, I thought Luca was the last player. I think I might have said he was the last team in the
You
East,
did.
but he is not. Last team in the East is going to be Liam, who is coming off of the worst season GigaNuts has ever seen with a 0-14 record, the first and
Dang.
hopefully only winless season in GigaNuts history.
Hopefully.
We'll see. There's a couple teams that could do it this year.
Oof.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm excited for Liam this year.
Yeah.
Excited to have him back in the league. Last year he was pretty much absent. Like I mean, we were making fun of Jay and Nate earlier. I mean, I still think I heard more from Jay and Nate last year than I heard from Liam after week 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hey, shout out him for getting a 3 for Bowers.
Yeah.
Tootin's a great keeper. I really was hoping he kind of forgot he had Tootin on his roster going into the offseason.
Yeah. Tootin for a 13th at that is wonderful. I would take Tootin in the 5th this year.
Yeah.
I think all I
pretty
really have to say
comfortable.
about Liam is like, don't do what you did last year for the draft.
Yeah. I mean,
Everything you did
tackles,
last year, do the
locker room,
opposite this year.
Pay attention, have a plan. Obviously, last year, I kind of don't blame you for coming in pretty weak-minded. I don't
I
think
blame you
would've
for
played
taking
that.
Travis Hunter in the 4th round. I will
Yeah,
blame you for
along
that.
with Worthy in the 4th. There were some questionable picks. But this year you have good capital. You have 2 seconds. You has a third, a pretty good third, if I'm not mistaken, 3-3.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, Liam, obviously we saw it in the 24 season. If he thinks his team can win, he is not scared to put his balls on the fucking table and go all in and buy. And I think we could very well see that again this year. Kind of going off of something similar with Jay keeping Scatabo. I think keeping Tootin, which what I would presume will probably be his RB2. It frees him up so much in the early rounds. First, he has 1-3, so whatever Puka, Jamar, JSN, whatever one of the three he wants, he snags, or CMC.
I can see. I don't hate it.
And then he has 2-8 and 2-10. I think the amount of routes he could go with those picks is fucking crazy. In every single mock, I think I've had him pick someone different in those slots because I literally have zero fucking idea who he's going.
The second round's a mystery to me this year, and part of it's because I don't have a pick, but it's a complete mystery to me. I have no clue where anyone's going. Neighbors is back. Where the fuck is he gonna go? No, I'm excited to see what Liam does. I don't have that much to say. Don't do what you did last year, and you'll be one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
Moving off to the bold prediction for Liam's team. Not so much a prediction about team success, but more so player. We have our bold prediction as Jeremiah Love will end up on Liam's roster somehow, some way.
I got a thumbs up here. I think Liam likes taking one funky player a year, and those 2 seconds, I think, give him prime. He's about back-to-back seconds. I think it's a prime opportunity to go take a receiver or think will do really well, and then say fuck it. Jeremiah Love's a dog. Yeah, especially if you fuck around and get CMC 1-3.
Yeah.
That's RB2. That is a stud.
Yeah.
RB2, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what happens there.
I also agree. I think kind of just with how the second's gone this year, it makes sense. You saw it with Genty last year. You take a risk on a super talented rookie running back, and Genty finished, RB 10, 11, or something like that?
He wasn't bad. He was just inefficient.
Yeah.
Yeah, with literally, I watched a video on it, a historically bad
Terrible.
offensive line. And, I know the word historically gets thrown around a little bit much, but genuinely historically bad offensive line. The average yards before contact was literally negative. He was getting touched behind the line.
Geno Smith was bad, but he's not that bad.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
he is not. And I think Jeremiah Love is just as talented.
I think Carroll was such a choice. Everything in Vegas was just bad last year, and I think this year is a new identity. They have an identity.
Yes.
Yeah, and they bring in Kubiak. Yeah, I think Vegas will be fun. All right, I still think they suck, but
yeah, absolutely.
I think it will be.
Thumbs up.
I agree with that.
Agree. But yeah, going off the bold prediction, I agree. I think Love ends up on Liam's team.
Yeah.
That just about wraps up the East. Now we get to move on to our division, boys. And funny enough, we are starting off with Mikey Swags.
Jesus.
Mikey, would you like to announce your keeper for those who are unaware?
Yeah, so I'm keeping GP as long as he plays for a 5th-round pick. He'll be a guy, hopefully, for me. I don't necessarily think that he'll have what he did last year. I think he can be similar, but I don't think he'll have what he did fully. He is still playing for his contract, which is one thing that does really excite me, and we've seen Dakota being able to support 2 wide receivers before. I'm not worried about that at all. But yeah, Ferguson came on last year. Javonte was a really big part, so there is a lot of mouths to feed in that offense. It's going to be interesting to see what he does with them.
Yeah, I think going off of what you said, I don't expect him to finish wide receiver 5 again.
I think he was 3 last year.
3?
Yeah,
Jesus.
he was
I don't
really
expect the wide
good.
receiver 3 finish, but I think in your case, it's if say you hit on your draft capital, which we'll get to in a second, it's I have George Pickens sick. This is a crucial piece to make the playoffs. And say you don't hit on your draft capital, you're sick. I have George Pickens. I can get good value out of him. So I think it's a win-win regardless. This is just a good keeper for either route the season ends up going for you. No complaints. I think it was Pickens or Rice the entire way. Both of them were great picks. It didn't really matter who you went. I think the same situation applies to both.
Yeah.
So yeah. Moving along to the Capitol, due to that Gibbs trade at the end of last year, Bishop is missing a 2nd and a 4th, but he does have 3 6s, something to note. And I think those sixes that you do have are absolutely the make or break for your year this year.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think it's you have to hit on them. That's kind of how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think all I really had to say for Bishop's team is like I think it's a play it by ear year. You know what I mean? It's like all right, these guys are balling. I might double down. I like the great thing about being in the West this year. It's like all right, do I want to compete and get lucky one week against Josh? It's possible.
Mhm.
It's possible to get lucky in any week of the season, right? Like I think it's kind of one of those like if you win some games, you ball out on this 6-round picks. I think there's a real shot you double down and try and come back from that 25 embarrassment.
It wasn't an embarrassment. It was not an embarrassment.
Dude, you lost by like 30.
I lost by 50.
Yeah,
And that was a bad week. I had one bad week all year. Dudes were in the playoffs doing that. Luka had fucking whatever.
Do you think the 18 and 0 New England Patriots weren't embarrassed after Eli Manning?
Yeah, but that's because Eli Manning is a bum that doesn't deserve to be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
How do you feel about Luka? I thought that sounds pretty similar to the way you talk.
Luka's a bum, but he has the best record historically. Like throughout the years, he's the most robotic drafter we'll ever see.
I think losing in a championship, no matter what, is generally embarrassing.
I had a great year. I'm not embarrassed about what I did. Hey, sometimes you get unlucky.
That's fair.
It's the way the chip was. I had fucking 4 dudes play on Christmas Day on a Wednesday. You want to know why I lost? Because I had 5 dudes play before Sunday. I had my entire starting team play before Sunday. You can't win fantasy football games like that. These dudes are already in the playoffs. That's why I fucking lost. Because goddamn Week 17 championships are the stupidest shit ever. Whatever. Make it Week 7 championships.
Don't got this.
It's just stupid. Whatever. That's why I lost. Not fucking Luka.
Moving right along.
Moving along to the bold prediction. What we have written down is that Bishop hits on all 6-round picks. To start, will give it a eh. I do think he hits on 2 of the 3, but I think once you get past the 4th round, every pick is volatile. And I think hitting on 3 6-round picks is obviously you have to know what you're doing, but I think it's literally 50% luck.
Yeah.
Like to hit on all 3, there is going to be luck involved, whether it be due to, breakout years, injuries, You get my point. So I do think Bishop, who is a notoriously pretty, very good drafter, I do think he does hit on at least 2, but I don't know if I would say all 3.
I'm gonna just disagree with my own take here. I came up with this one. I don't think it happened. I think like we saw with the 5th round last year. But I had to sneeze. I think that a lot of players that you see in mock drafts in the 6th are going to be gone by 5'10", and I think Bishop's going to be very angry at 6'2" when Luka or Rossi take his player.
Yeah.
And I think it all goes downhill from there. But hey, you can go get Marv for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say I always say yes because I'm gonna hit on Marvin. He's gonna be wide receiver 1 this year. So
Jacoby Brissett.
I'll draft that dude if he's going in the fucking 17th round. I don't care.
Free agent Marvin is gonna go crazy.
Moving on to the other co-host, my dearest friend Kamish. Great keeper. For those of you who do not know, he is keeping our beloved Devontae Smith for a 5th round this year, and my God, is that fucking exciting. AJ Brown is no longer an Eagle, and we don't have Kevin Patullo calling plays. So a whole lot of upside and excitement for Devontae Smith this year. John, I'll let you glaze your own keeper. Go for it, buddy.
That's wide receiver 1, bro. That's Slim Reaper. Like, that boy won a Heisman. You know how hard it is to win a Heisman when you play wide receiver? It's so hard. You know the last person to win a Heisman before him at the wide receiver position? Go ahead and take a guess.
Michael Bishop?
Oh, Blackman didn't win it. Fuck.
Tim fucking Brown.
Jeez.
Damn.
Tim Brown is the last receiver to win, a true receiver to win the Heisman Award. Yeah, Devontae Smith is like that. 1,600 yards, 12 touchdowns, top 5 finish.
I don't hate that at all.
That's big dogs. Like, that's how I feel about my team.
I hope it
Simply
happens.
for
As
the
an Eagles fan,
identity.
Yeah.
I would love to see Smitty go for 1,600.
No,
That
That
would be
was a
sick.
dog.
and the Eagles have proven that they're every other year contenders. So you're gonna see a 13-3, 14-3. We'll say 14-3 Eagles squad this year.
Love that.
So
Yeah.
I don't hate that at all. I think Smitty will be a big part of that.
I think, yeah. I love my keeper, obviously. Thank you, Josh. And I will say thank you, Josh, and apologize to Josh, because in no world did I think AJ Brown was actually going to be off the team this season. And I told you that when I traded for him, and you thought I was going to keep him, and here I am, keeping Devontae Smith.
Moving on to his draft capital, John is slapped right at 5-1, so he will get presumably the last pick of the bunch of Puka Jais and Jamar, or he could go CMC, assuming he's still there. It is. I know he doesn't want to hear about it, but it is. I know for a fact it's in the back of his mind, and that's only going to continue
I'm
to
so
grow
scared.
towards draft day. No second round pick, but he does have 3.738, which I absolutely fucking hate. Because I'm 3.9, so
80% of that trade was just to piss Sal off, by the way.
Yeah, it worked. And he does have 4.5 and 6.9. Nice. Anyways, so pretty basic draft capital. Kind of, we know John can draft. John is just like myself, very volatile drafter.
I can trade.
Gets hard stuff on a player, and it doesn't work, or it will work, but. Going off of that, John is the biggest transaction whore in our league. He loves to make moves, whether it's a trade, pickups, drops. So we know that whatever team he does come out with after draft day is going to look very different by week 5.
Yeah.
It's going to look very, very different.
Check out my week 1 starting lineups the last 3 seasons.
Yeah. And then just go through like week 8 and see what the fuck's going on. So, and I think it's just super exciting because it's always nice to have someone in your league like that where they just will never commit to like one like given lineup. Keeps things fresh, keeps the group chat active, and I think nothing is going to change. I think if anything, this year will incentivize John to do it even to a more extreme level as we saw last year. And yeah, I mean, it's a pretty straightforward team. Good keeper, average draft capital. He's going to make moves. So we'll just have to wait till later in the season to really dig a little bit deeper onto his team. Moving along to the bold prediction. Devontae Smith finishes as a top 5 fantasy receiver. This really hurts to say as an Eagles fan, but I do disagree. I do think that we run the ball a shit ton. And it's really all it is. He has the talent to do it. I just don't think he's going to get the volume to do it. I think he's going to get a huge volume increase, but I just don't think he'll get enough to put him to that top 5 limit. With that being said, I think he finishes top 10, just not top 5.
Can he stop getting tackled on the 1?
Yes.
Okay, I think that's the real determinant of how good Devontae Smith is this year, is if we get tackled on the 1 every game.
Yeah. No, I also have to disagree for the same reason Sal said. I think I could totally see him finishing 6. Honestly, I can still see him finishing top 5, but yeah, it is the issue of the Eagles want to run the ball. We have Saquon Barkley. It's hard not to want to run the ball when you have Saquon Barkley, and Saquon Barkley is really good at his job. And not saying Smitty isn't, but they're,
proven to be able to run the ball for 2,000 yards before I get it.
Yeah.
Oh, let me do this one. Oh my God. Moving on to our host himself, Sal Rose, coming off his first career playoff win, establishing himself and his franchise as a true contender with an identity going forward. Right?
Yeah, needed it.
Keeping Jonathan Taylor for a 2 with some savvy moves with Jay at the trade deadline last year, moving back in the second because he knew what he was keeping. And then moving out of the first with Josh. Some bold moves. I think we should hear some behind the scene, like the thought process, especially with that first round trade out.
Yeah. So I was positioned at 1-9. And based on kind of just like snooping around the league, it was looking like I was going to end up with either Amon-Ra or James Cook. Obviously, no complaints. Both are fucking animals. But I was missing a 4 a 6, 7, and 8 from last year's moves. So I was looking and I was doing the mocks, and obviously having JT mixed with either Amon-Ra or James Cook was nice. But I was like, hypothetically, what if I move out of the first? And like, what would my team look like? So I started doing mocks on it, and I was like, wow, I have so much more depth. Like my two flexes aren't 9th and 10th round players. So I hit up Josh. Obviously, we'll get to him in a second. For those who don't know, ridiculous capital. Ended up trading out of the first for a 2-4-7-9, and I love it. My team in the mocks is so much better, and I think the gap between like a James Cook, Amon Ra to who I'll get at like 2-6. So like just throwing names out there: Derrick Henry, Chase Brown, AJ Brown. While there is a tier gap, I think the tier gap isn't big enough for me to sacrifice having, two fucking bums at flex along with no depth. So that's kind of why I did the trade. I love my team so much more in the mocks. So I'm very happy I did it. I know obviously some people disagree, think it was a dumb move. I love it. That's what matters. Yeah.
No, I think your team's gonna ball.
I hope so. We're looking for our third straight playoff appearance, and I needed it because for those, missed the first 2 years of playoffs. The first year, I don't care what anyone says, I drafted a good team, got banged up by injuries. Second year, drafted like shit, horrible team.
Yeah, I think year one, the only reason you don't make the playoffs is because you're like learning how to trade in the league. If I'm being
never
honest
did pick trading, so I wasn't sure what the fuck.
Yeah, I think that was just the biggest reason year one. But no, I think generally like. I think it's just a matter of hitting on those picks that you got from the Josh trade at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, this could backfire because, instead of having Amon Ra, James Cook, say I with the second and the fourth, I'm going to look like a fucking idiot. But I'm ready to take that heat because, it's something that I just had to come to terms with. And I'm so excited to draft with my newfound capital. I think it makes my team better. That's like... I have a pretty straight draft. JT is a keeper. It's kind of similar to John. Good keeper, pretty normal capital. Just kind of if we can hit on our picks.
You got anything to add, Bishy Bill?
No, I mean, it's exciting that he finally did something in the league. I think we were all waiting for it.
Crazy phrasing.
I was about to say I made the playoffs the year before, but last year was definitely my best team.
You finally did something. You had a team that was actually.
It could have competed.
Yeah. We were at least on my side.
I was the
second
best team.
Yeah, I was scared. I
obviously
I wanted to see Luka way more than I wanted to see you. And who cares? You all would have both whooped my ass because I scored fucking 90 points. Whatever.
Anyone watching the video? Here's my cat.
But yeah, I think it'll be an interesting year for you. You're in an interesting position as all of us, with being in the West, where it's really just Josh and then whoever can fill that 2 and 3rd playoff spot. And I think you can. I think that's just it.
So moving on to our bold prediction for Senor Sal's franchise this year. I don't know how much I think this, but I'm gonna say yes to it. So I'll continue to read it. I think you'll regret moving out of the first. I think that tier between Amon-Ra, James Cook, and Nico Collins, or name your player in the second round. I think that gap of close to 80 points is quite a gap. I think that's the issue.
Yeah, I have to agree. I feel like you want that top end talent. I love
fantasy.
Depth.
Fantasy love stars.
Yeah, I love depth, but you can always find depth later. You can always find a guy on the waiver wire that's giving you 13 points a week. Going out there and being able to draft a guy that is giving you 22, 23 points a week is just so valuable, and it's you really can't put a price tag on it.
No.
Obviously, I'm going to disagree. I think the gap between a James Cook and a Chase Brown is not big enough for kind of like what I said. I just don't think it's big enough for me to go and sacrifice a 4th and the 6th and the 7th and not having any of those. But they could be completely right. If I whiff on these 2 picks, then they can laugh in my face, and I fucked up really bad.
Yeah, I think the only thing that holds me back is the fact that James Cook averaged 6 yards a carry last year. That boy a dog.
Yeah, he's really good.
That boy really good at football.
Yeah,
really good at football.
He is, but
yeah. Well, I'll hand it back over to our host now that his section's over.
Thank you, thank you. Moving on to by far the most talked about player this offseason, we have Josh Lindquist. And before we even get to his keeper, for those unaware, because I know we did kind of start trailing off of Giga Up, I believe it was like week 9 or
Something
8
around
last
there,
year. We
yeah.
kind of just stopped. Josh, pretty much full sold. And prior to him trading up to the first with me, he had 1-7, 3 seconds, 4/4, and I think like 2/6.
Something like that.
After
Pussy.
trading with me, he has 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 3/4. It is the most insane capital the league will see ever. Hopefully,
Ever.
more than likely, ever. Yes. It's just
Yeah.
nauseating to look at because, I can speak for everyone. You'll do the mock draft. You'll look and you'll be like, wow, I really like my team. And then you'll go to Josh's team and you're like, wow, I'm going to get curb stomped by 90 points. And he's in my division. So that really
Not fun.
sucks. Kind of just all
Two
fighting
L's this year.
2 seed. Yeah. Fortunately, the only saving grace is his keeper is very underwhelming.
Yeah.
He is keeping Michael Wilson for a 14th, which I don't think is like horrid. Like it's not like, oh my god, what are you doing? But I do think there are. I think there was a better option.
Yeah, we talked about it before the pod. K9 for a 4, not even being thought about, or maybe it was a 3, but just not even being thought about. Rubs me a crazy way. I think that's. It's hard for me to not sit here and go, you have all this capital. Go and get a fucking guaranteed guy versus a guy that was really good because Marvin Harrison, like, if you look at the on-off stats of Marvin Harrison and Michael Wilson, like, Michael Wilson was good because Marvin Harrison didn't play.
Yeah.
Respectfully, like, that's why he was a baller. And maybe he balls out again and he's just wide receiver 1 this year, and, like, I know that's what the reports are saying, but I like Andy Reid running backs, personally, is how I feel about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I can't say
Isaiah
anything negative
Pacheco
about Josh. He's the dude's a dog. Like, he's got crazy capital. Hit on your picks and you'll be undefeated.
Yeah, I mean, and what's an interesting spot for Josh is that he was more or less in a very similar position this time last year, where he went into the draft last year with the second best capital behind me, and drafted a really good team, all things considered. I mean, there was definitely some duds in there, but like
that 3rd round killed it.
Yeah, drafting, like, getting the Chuba pick it hurt and whatever, but I think I think it's gonna be interesting to see what Josh's team looks like next year, because even going into the season last year, we were like, Josh is gonna curb stomp a lot of people, and he had some really good weeks before he sold, but it's just going to be interesting to see. I think he's going to feel a lot more inclined not to sell, obviously, because of the West and because he's just...
This motherfucker, yo, I'll say it on the pod right now. Josh, you sell this year for no reason, I will kick you out of the league myself. Shit's getting ridiculous. I will give you a co-owner and give them 51% of your team. You have pissed the commissioner off at this point. This is ridiculous. I don't care if you put up 60 points. Why the fuck are you trading your team in a win?
Yeah, bro. Like, that shit is crazy.
It's just a direct message from the league.
Yeah.
Like a little memo to Senor Lindquist, like, buddy, lock the fuck in, go down with the shit.
Yeah, you're giving your hardest competition, Jameer Gibbs. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what?
What a decision. GM of the year, though.
I think we also see Josh draft very different. I think outside of last year, we saw Josh draft very risky, as you can see by like the previous DeAndre Swift and Chris Olave first round picks. I don't, because I think last year he tried to play it a little bit safer and fell into really bad ADP traps. So this year I think he kind of plays a mixture of
like a little
don't overthink it. If this person was good last year and they're in a similar situation, take them. And if you want to reach on, say, a 5th rounder and take them in the 4th, go for it. I think in the 1st and the 2nd round, you need to know, the players that are being drafted in those rounds are being drafted there for a reason. They are 2nd, 1st round caliber players.
Yes.
No reason to overthink that, especially when you have so many of them. You can build a legitimate fucking God squad. Stick to who you want, Josh. Save your reaches for the 4th round, 5th, 6th, whatever you're drafting. And just, play it safe in the first and second. You have enough volume to where if you hit on both first and both seconds, you're going to be the 1 seed in the West anyway.
Yes.
Now, another very contradicting bold prediction is we have written down, I believe this was Bishop, you?
Yes, this was me. Yeah. So I'll say it then. My bold prediction for Josh this year is that I think he has single-digit wins. Yeah, I guess that's you.
I think I want to thumbs up it because I think this year is a lot of. I don't think there's going to be layover and take it teams outside of Joey. Like, I think it's
Joey and Luca are the only.
Yeah, but like, I think it just kind of. I think it's a little tough for me to envision. Like, I think I could see him getting 10. I don't think I could see 11 plus.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. I think Bishop had such an outlier of a year last year. Like, not many teams are that consistently good week in and week out, right?
Yeah.
Like,
No.
I think that's tough to do, and I think what you might see from Josh is like a really, really volatile team this year. I think you're gonna see 180 performances, but I also think you're gonna see 100 flat.
Yeah.
And I think that can result in 5 losses. I think it's very doable. I think I give this a hesitant thumbs up.
I'm going to give it a hesitant thumbs down. I think he sits around that 10-11 mark kind of just because of our division. I think if he's in the East, I think I have him right at 9 wins. And that's a maybe because the East is really good this year. He's got Dan, Liam, Bean, all them. But I think because of the West, he has 2 free ones in Joey and Mark, which we'll get to in a second. And then speaking for all 3 of us, we're all big question marks. I think our teams are going to be as volatile as they get.
Yeah.
So I think just because of the circumstances and how much more capital he has than literally like all 3 of us combined, I think he will probably hit that double digit, but I think 11 is the absolute max. I don't think we'll see a team go undefeated in the regular season or even 1 win like Bishop had last year for a very long time.
I think last year would have been the last time.
The best bet. Yeah, I think you were the closest we'll see a team come to undefeated, like probably ever maybe. It's just so hard to go undefeated throughout a fucking entire year.
150, because you can score 150 and still lose,
and lose, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what happened to me. No, my thing with that for me is that I think we will see D2 be in a similar position, or I'm sorry, West be in a similar position to how D1 was last year, where like you feel there's a lot of people that feel like they can sit there and go get that 2nd and 3rd playoff spot, and I think that the people in the East Division are going to be more likely to trade and try to get out and try to just sell and look at next year because they look at their team compared to others. So I guess see a lot of West players buying from the East. And I think that, I don't know, I think that will be good enough to, and then he still has to play the East 4 times, and I think he'll have the shot. I mean, he'll have the 2 free wins in Joey and Mark, but I think there will be a lot of teams week in and week out that feel comfortable like they can beat him.
Yeah. I like that. Moving along to the second to last team in the West.
Quickest session.
We have Joey and Mark. I'm going to try and speed run this. I'm sure you all can agree. Last year, they went all in. Mark's first year in the league, wanted to make a statement. Started off 4-0, had a horrible fizzle out, ended up missing the playoffs. They are missing a 2nd, 4th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Keeping Hampton for a 3rd. Love that for them in terms of the 2nd they can trade them, ship them the fuck out. You have nothing else to look forward to. Sam goes for the 1st round pick, assuming it's CMC. The 2nd you can trade them, get them the hell out. This year is a reset. Obviously, you saw what happened last year. As John typed in our notes, this is an SOS. This is a wasted season. Any single time, the 2nd you can sell someone and get picks, sell them. Don't overthink it. I have nothing else to say.
Yeah, I think this is clearly everyone's prediction for repeat 0-14.
Yeah.
If someone's gonna do it,
this is worse capital than Liam came into the draft last year. So I can't sit here and imagine it's gonna go exactly the best or anything, right? I think it's an L. I don't have much to say. Go take the best player available in every slot and
literally
start trading as soon as the draft's over.
Yeah, and one thing I want to say about their squad is that they only have 9 picks this year, right? So, not only is it brutal, right? It's not even like you have, I got 3 10s or something like that, where it's you don't feel comfortable about those
5
310s.
people off of waivers.
Yeah, like
wow,
it's
I didn't even
really
know that.
you draft literally one bench player, and
The
that's
last time,
your team.
the only time that I've ever been bad in this league was when that happened to me. I
Yeah.
had nine players. I was missing, I think, like rounds 2 to 6 or something. Like,
Yeah.
It was ridiculous because I went all in. But like, yeah, it's hard to pick up players off waivers and build a team around them.
Absolutely, because even by
There's a
the
reason they didn't get drafted.
yeah, even by round 14, dudes are taking like those long shots, but like they're long
Yeah.
shots to everyone now. Free agency and the waivers come around, and they're not even long shots anymore.
Yeah, I think we can roll right into this prediction.
Yeah.
We'll get a kick out of that.
Yeah, bold prediction is they win 2 games, and honestly, I don't know if that's bold because it's more likely that they're going to win less. And I truthfully, yeah,
I think
I'm
that
going to
is bold
disagree.
because of that. I deadass
Yeah.
think they win 1 game.
Yeah.
I think they win
they
one
have
game,
1 upset, and then
and I think that's assuming he plays Luka. If he doesn't
I
play
think it's like a
Luka,
week 1 win, and then over.
if in one of his 4 West game or East games he doesn't play Luka, he generally could go 1-14. Obviously, given the state of me, Bishop, John's team, and even Curry's, we'll get to him in a second. Like there is room for us to have some duds, but I don't know if it'll be duddy enough to fucking lose to what will have half bench players now.
Yeah, he needs if he drafts
So-
CMC, he needs a 50-point performance from CSC those first 4 weeks, or he's not
Yeah.
winning a game.
Legitimately.
No.
That's,
yeah,
I think that's what
exactly.
it is.
Yeah.
He needs Hampton and CMC to combine for like 80.
Yeah.
And he has a chance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's cooked.
Yeah,
26
it's so
is
cooked.
for that.
It's an SOS year, like you put. It is what
Yeah.
it is.
Hey, at least they'll win the Turkey Bowl though.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, East is gonna get curb stomped. Just wait for that final score.
The onside kicks every kick.
Moving on to the last team of the pod, we got Curry and Hammy. It's the same exact story as last year. Literally a straight draft. I think Curry's missing like an 8th outside of right. He's literally just an 8th.
Yeah, he's just missing. It's either a 7th or an
He's
8th
missing a 7, but then he has his 8 tied
Missing
up to
his 7,
Javante.
and then he has 1 through 6, 8 through 14, right?
Yeah,
In
yeah.
his own pick slot. Yeah. Keeping Javante for an 8, great value. I personally wanted Javante in the 3rd. Obviously, I can say that because it doesn't matter now. I love the keeper, and he had a plethora of good keepers. He had Ibuka for like a 6th,
Yep.
and I think with Curry, for most teams, it's like, oh, they have a straight draft. This is going to be really hard to build off of. But, I mean, you saw it last year with him. The kid had a straight draft, and he was the 2nd best team in D2 for fucking 4/5 of the year.
Yeah.
He can draft, and if he has a draft similar to last year, there's no reason where he can't come into the weaker West Division this year and just kind of easily claim the 2 seed.
Yeah.
Consistency is key with Ryan Kerger over the last 2-3 seasons. He's consistently gotten better, consistently made better moves. Hammy's consistently given more input to the team.
That's been a huge thing. Been loving how Hammy has been really just.
I love the keeper. I don't know how much I have to say because we'll address the elephant. No one's heard from Curry. That is the elephant in the room. No one's heard from him.
Yeah.
Respectfully, we don't know if he's going to show up to the draft. And I hate to say that, and I don't even want to open.
He's going
to
to,
that.
bro. He's going. He's
Yeah,
going.
He better, like respectfully, he better. That's my boy.
He's going.
Yeah.
He's going.
But like, I don't know what they're thinking at all at any picks. I know, like, I don't know what they want a running back round 1. If that like, they're at the end of the first round. It's gonna be a lot of play it by ear with Curry and Hammy this year, and I feel like low-key it's kind of like that every year. Like I never know what Curry's really gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't run mocks with anyone. He doesn't like
Fog of
openly
war.
race who he wants, which I think is smart. I personally like to talk about it too much for me to do that, but it is smarter to keep your fucking mouth shut.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he's big into the fog of war.
I think
I like it.
I think Curry's in a very interesting position, like Dan and Jay, where they have that late round solid running back 2 keeper that really makes it that early, like the whole draft really for them is just so opened up because you have someone that you can at least slot in week 1 as running back 2 and you feel really comfortable
Or even
about
RB1
it.
if he wants to go receiver. Heavy.
Truthfully, yeah.
Like like a low end RB1. I'm perfectly fine with labeling Javante as that.
I agree.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
I
it's
don't,
gonna be
yeah,
interesting.
I don't know. There's not much to say. There's not much coming out of the Curry camp as per usual in the offseason.
No.
We'll have a lot more to give you in the post draft episode. But
Yeah.
you know, with all that being said, straight draft. We have no idea what they're leaning. So I wish we could give a little bit more insight, but we can't. It is what it is. But I don't think even if we had insight, it would change too much. It's a straight draft. You know what to
No,
expect.
straight draft.
Yeah.
Normally good. Hope they're good again.
Moving along to the bold prediction, what we have marked down right now is Javonte top 10 RB. I am going to. Oh, go ahead, John.
I was gonna say I think I have a hard time picturing a better year out of Javonte Williams, and I think that's why I give it a downvote. I think that the game script should be better, but that also just means that if that Cowboys offense is as good as it was last year, the starters should be pulled by the fourth quarter almost half the games of the year. That's my kind of thing. Is like Javonte realistically shouldn't get late game burn this year if the defense has any amount of fixing in it. And you saw it down the stretch last year when they were down games. Like if Javonte's not in the game script because it's not a close game, he's just generally not going to get the ball. They don't dump it off to him too often. Like yeah, he got catches, but like. He wasn't doing much with the ball after the fact. A lot of swing passes, not a lot of design stuff. But I think he's gonna score touchdowns. And I mean, he scored 11 last year, and I think he'll be top 15. And I think that's what we originally had this question as is top 15, but it wasn't bold.
He was very efficient last year. 4.77 yards per carry, which
yeah, I think he'll be good. I just think that other running backs might be more explosive.
Yeah, I'm going to slightly disagree. Very feasible, kind of like I was saying with some of these earlier ones. Like it wouldn't really shock me if it did happen, but I think it's kind of similar to my reasoning on Wandale not finishing top 20. Is I think there's just so many talented running backs in the league. Not to say that Javonte isn't talented, because he is, but just to name some off, it's like JT, Hampton, Bijan, Gibbs, CMC, Cook, Walker, Gentry, H.N. Brown, Barkley, Jeremiah Love, Henry. Like that's 15 players.
That was 13. Yeah.
13, whatever. And that's not counting players that could finish above him, like Brees Hall, Kyron, Josh Jacobs, ETN. While the same could be said, Javonte could finish over them. I think there's just so many good running backs in this league.
It's his opportunities.
Yeah, and they're due to get more volume. I don't think Javonte gets 250 touches again.
I think but my thing is I think that's his like ceiling, right?
That's what I think. If he were to repeat that, it's best scenario. I don't think he goes over 250.
Yeah, I think No, I'm in agreement with you.
More in green, or I don't think he gets more involved in the passing game. Maybe a little bit, but I don't think that's enough to sway him to a top 10 RB for me.
Yeah, I will agree with this. Just because I really do think that Javonte will have more touchdowns this year. He had 13 total last year. And I could see him finishing the year with 16, 17, which is obviously a high mark, but it's a good Cowboys offense. We know that.
Boys move the ball.
They move the ball.
Yeah.
Like they get in positions where that can happen, and I think Javonte can succeed in those opportunities that are given to him inside like the 10 or the 5. I agree. I definitely agree that I don't know if he'll get the amount of touches that he was getting last year, but I also think part of it is. Like, if he's playing well, like, I think they'll still be like, well, why not give him the football right now? They don't really have a better option behind him. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting for sure. But I do agree with that. I think he can finish top 10.
Yeah. Well, that just about wraps up all 12 teams.
Preview.
Yeah, that'll be our draft preview. I know in the coming future, obviously I mentioned it a million times, post-draft Giga Up will definitely be up. Probably, I'd say, shoot to get that 2 to 3 days out after the draft once both of y'all are flown home and welcome,
we'll figure it out.
Set up. And then I do know, Bishop, you mentioned that we still have all of the recorded clips from the draft from last year. I know we talked about maybe getting some of those together and going over them and comparing them to how the season actually went. I think that's a really fun idea that we can definitely do something with.
Yeah.
But I hope all of the GigaNutters watch this because you were talked about and gave you all some insight you might not have known. And yeah, that's about all I got. Any closing statements we would like to make, my friends?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Great to be back.
Lovely.
Get
This
ready,
was-
get excited.
Let's have a good time, like always.
I'm ecstatic.
I'm so ecstatic.
I can't hide that. Like I'm smirking. Like I can't. This is awesome. I'm so happy to be back.
Draft is
Got
the best
pod
point of the
The
time
pod
every
is
year.
so Western Division now, though. We gotta.
Yeah.
It is. We need to get a lot
We're
of
gonna
East
have to-
co-hosts, or not
Yeah,
co-hosts.
we're gonna have
Yes.
to get a lot of East guests for
Yeah,
sure.
because we have a lot of
Um,
bias coming in on this side.
Yeah.
But-
no, I think I'm
Yeah.
excited for the season. I
Yeah.
hope everyone's just excited as we are.
Yeah. Let's get back in the swing of things. And yeah.
All right. Thank you all for watching.
Catch it when you catch it.
Right.